Welcome back. My name's Ken LaSalle, author, and all the other things of The Day We Said Goodbye, a meditation on acceptance. I'm just covering it with my finger. Available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, and I'm reading it for you now. And right now we're on chapter 11, which is called Saying Goodbye to Rosa, which is dated October 19th, 2005. It takes place in a courtroom. It is a courtroom drama scene. So now that I've intrigued you, it seemed like we weren't unpacked from our honeymoon before my court date with Rosa arrived. October 19th fell on a Wednesday. I took a day off from work without explanation because, after all, what explanation was there? That I was finally standing up for myself? That I had been pushed around enough by the woman I had thought I would be with for the rest of my life? That's how it sounded in my head every time I tried to explain it to that big part of myself that felt it was wrong. As the date neared, my resolve weakened because I knew there'd be no going back, no turning away from what was becoming a final confrontation. Vicky and I met Julie, my attorney, shortly after 8 a.m. in the hallway outside of the courtroom. Several yards away, on the other side of the courthouse hallway, sat Rosa with the guy who had fathered her child. Now, I feel I should stop at this point and provide a little context. If I were to write this book today, I would probably focus less on how Rosa looked. But as I probably have mentioned before, this was written some time ago. And, you know, you change as years go by and you realize that probably wasn't so healthy to keep talking about something that was causing me so much pain. But, you know, we tend to pick at scabs. So, I will continue. She looked beautiful. I didn't dare say that out loud with my new bride sitting right beside me, but to me, she did. Rosa had always been beautiful in my eyes. That hadn't ended. I wanted to go to her and try and talk with her one final time, but I fought that desire because I knew it was hopeless. I could see in her eyes boring into me from across the hall that she would never again talk to me like a reasonable adult. Okay, so we'd go to court. If I needed any sign of how this was going to go, I got it on the front page of the court's paperwork, where Rosa's attorney had described me as an erstwhile actor. And it was the use of that word, erstwhile, that said it all. Erstwhile, as in former, as in he used to be an actor and now he's nothing. I could see where they were trying to go, and I had known they'd try character assassination, but this was just silly. And then they added other words like stalker, and deranged, and obsessive. They added words about Rosa such as frightened, and alone, and mother. And I knew the comedy had stopped at erstwhile. Their argument was that Rosa had never borrowed $10,000 from me. The $10,000 I gave her was repayment for money she had previously given to me. There was no loan, only an obsessive ex-husband who couldn't let her go. I tried defending myself against their accusations. While I sat on the stand, I made a point of mentioning my present employer, where I had been working for 5 years, along with the books and plays I'd written. True, I had once been an actor, but erstwhile was hardly accurate. I talked about how I'd loaned Rosa the money out of the goodness of my own heart because I believed she could be trusted. But the more I spoke, the more emotional I became. I began to shake, and I knew that could be interpreted several different ways. Fortunately, my testimony ended soon afterwards, and I returned to my seat. Rosa was called up, and in the most condescending fashion, she testified that I was a stalker who terrified her to the point where she had to agree to take me back, or else. For years, I had hoped the time without Rosa in my life would be brief. At first, I thought we could reconcile and return to our lives as man and wife. Then I had lowered my expectations to something romantic, if not matrimonial. For years until the trial, I had simply hoped we could just be friends once again. We had been such good friends once. We had enjoyed each other's company and had consoled each other and had brought each other peace. Just friendship. That was my only wish. But hearing Rosa on the stand made me finally understand what I had been missing all that time. It was over. No relationship with Rosa would ever be possible. Rosa had left my life long ago, and she was not coming back. Julie stepped up to cross-examine Rosa and began by asking about the emails Rosa had sent to me promising me she would pay me back for the money I had loaned her. Even the defense didn't try to claim those emails had not been from Rosa. Rosa leaned forward, and I could see how self-assured she was, how positive she was that she would win. She said, "Well, you see, Julie, you are to refer to counsel by, you are not to refer to counsel by her first name." The not is very important in that sentence. The judge snapped. Julie had been telling me about the benefits of having facts on our side, and how most judges couldn't stand people who based their case solely on emotional appeal. Vicky had told me that too. But it wasn't until I heard the judge's voice that I realized where Rosa had gone wrong. Up until then, I was certain she would win and that all of my actions were strictly to draw a line in the sand and say, enough. Up until that point, I had never imagined that I'd actually win. But I did. The judge ruled in my favor shortly after the trial, and I never saw Rosa again. I'm hesitant to write those words, "I never saw Rosa again," except I know how true they are. When Rosa and I were together, she would chide me for holding grudges and letting my anger keep such a hold on me. It took years for me to change that, not until Rosa was long out of my life. But when I saw her in court, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. But what I saw in court from Rosa was the very same thing. What I saw was hatred coming out of Rosa's eyes, and I knew that look of hatred. It was the same look Rosa had given me when she claimed I forced her into marriage. It was the same look Rosa had given when she claimed I forced her to have an abortion. She was giving me that look now, and that would be the last image I took from her. And it was that image that I took into my second marriage. No wonder the whole thing had me so screwed up. Thinking about Rosa now, meaning some time ago, I just hope she can find peace and somehow be happy. I may never be able to really let go of Rosa. She was such an important part of my life. But finally saying goodbye was more necessary than I realized. And that's chapter 11 of The Day We Said Goodbye, a meditation on acceptance. The next chapter is called How Are We? Hawaii. March 23rd, 2006, and then some as I drop the bookmark. And let's see, that's not that long of a chapter. Do that next week. So until next week, I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of The Day We Said Goodbye, a meditation on acceptance by me, Ken LaSalle. I hope you go out and pick yourself up a copy on Audible, iTunes, Amazon, and so forth in ebook, paperback, and audiobook. Until next time. And that's it. Thanks for coming around, and I hope you subscribe, click the like button, and connect with me on all that social media business on the screen.